Here's your host, Bill Lasky.
Welcome into a Friday edition of Sports Phone KNBR, our final Sports Phone KNBR post-game show for the San Francisco Giants for the 2025 season. And why not go out with a bang as they beat the Rockies 6-3 at Oracle Park in front of 40,000 fans. The last Orange Friday till 2026, the last night game till 2026. As the curtain is closing on the 2025 baseball season, the San Francisco Giants are chasing that 500 record with a two-game winning streak now with 2 left to go as they go 79-81 right now. And they got their horses on the hill. Justin Verlander throwing tomorrow, Logan Webb on Sunday. So, you know what? They're going for it. They're going to try to make this season turn into an 81-81 season. And why not? Go out with a nice bang as they did today as Willie Adames collects the Willie Mack Award, which is such a great award that is given out to the player that's voted by his teammates, trainers, coaches, and fans. And Willie Adames had that smile on his face from the first day he walked in with that Giants uniform on, and he understands who Willie McCovey is. He understands what that award means. Didn't waste any time as he hit a 2-run home run in that first inning, hitting his 29th home run. One more he needs in the next 2 games to tie Barry Bonds. Since 2004, a player has hit 30 home runs. It didn't stop there. Elliot Ramos hit a 3-run bomb in the second. Man, that ball was smoked 440 feet out to left center field, his 21st on an 0-2 hanging curveball. The Giants had enough right then. They had 5 runs, and boy, you talk about Trevor McDonald, talk about backing it up. He pitched 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run against the LA Dodgers on Sunday, where the Giants salvaged 1 win out of that 4-game series, and he backed it up with just a great performance tonight. 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, 10 strikeouts. And it was really in that 5th inning he gave up a base hit to Doyle, gave up a base hit to Fulford. He had 2 outs, and it was so – you're already thinking about it. Tovar is just the kind of hitter he swings at the first pitch, and the whole time Kruk and Kipe were talking about it, and they were like, he's a first ball swinger, watch where you're throwing it. And the one curveball he hung, and Tovar hit it a mile, it seemed like, all the way to center field. And that was really the only mistake that he made. He pitched a gem tonight, getting his first major league win, and most likely right now he's getting that beer shower in the shower right now with all the players excited for his first win in Major League Baseball. He threw 89 pitches, 68 for strikes. What great numbers right there. 18 first pitch strikes for 26 hitters, and he did the same in the Dodgers. He was really ahead of a lot of hitters in that game. And in that game, he threw 89 pitches and 60 of them for strikes. So very comparable to this game. And, when you start breaking it down, the curveball is his out pitch. He gets ahead with the sinker and the slider. He threw 30 sinkers, 6 sliders. But that curveball, 12-6, and he really can throw it hard. He can off-speed it. Threw 52 of those, and it worked out. 10 strikeouts he had. 9 of those were swinging. 1 was taken, and that was what he threw a sinker on. And walks off the mound after 7 innings. And I say there's no walks, 10 strikeouts. Very, very impressive for the 24-year-old out of Mississippi. Tomorrow I'll be doing the warm-up show, and I interviewed him on Wednesday. I went up to the ballpark and met him and did a nice little interview, and you'll hear that tomorrow on the warm-up show as we talk about this game and how he pitched against the Dodgers. Just to get to know him a little bit. Really a nice kid. So if you're up tomorrow on the warm-up show, you'll be able to hear it. And if you don't, it'll be on the KNBR All podcast probably through the weekend. But overall, the Giants came in this game wanting to win these last 3 games to be 81-81. Adames, like I said, hit his 29th. Ramos hit his 21st. And played some very good defense. The one play by Matt Chapman in the 3rd inning off of Tovar, where he caught the ball down the third base line and went out of bounds and then threw it on a hop. And, of course, when you got 6'7" Bryce Eldridge over there stretching as far as he could, it was a fabulous play and really done well by Matt Chapman. And some good defense today by Willie Adames up the middle. And this is what I can say. The team has gotten better on the defensive side the second half, but just not enough to get in this wild card, as they'll fall short a couple games. They won their 40th game at Oracle. They're 40-39 at home right now. They're 39-42 on the road. Well, that won't change. 63-53 against right-handers. And tomorrow they're going to see Kyle Freeland again. And we know what happened with him and Rafael Devers last time. And I was telling my producer, Jacob, the last home run Kyle Freeland gave up was the home run to Devers. He has been spotless. He's gone 25 in the third innings against San Diego, the Dodgers, Miami, and the Angels. He hasn't given up a home run. Matter of fact, he's been pitching pretty well. So we'll see what he features tomorrow. I can't wait till that first at bat against Rafael Devers and see what happens. But again, Justin Verlander tomorrow on the hill, 3-11 with a 3.8. First pitch right here at 1:05 p.m. His last start against St. Louis scuffled a little bit, gave up 4 earned runs, but before that, boy, Arizona, no earned runs, Dodgers 1, St. Louis none, Baltimore 2, and the Cubs none. I mean, that is just exceptional pitching. 5 out of his last 6 starts with 2 runs or less. 415-808 KNBR. Let's get the phone lines going on the final Friday here on San Francisco Giants baseball. And I'll be on this weekend. I'll be doing a warm-up show tomorrow and Sunday. And, of course, the extra inning post-game show. Got some great guests coming up this weekend. Did some really, really fun stuff. And a lot of the Willie Mack Award winners, Marvin Bernard being one, Dave Dravecki being one, Robbie Thompson, Will Clark. And then I sat down with Greg Elliott, who, after 18 years, is moving on to the San Jose Earthquakes. And he's been the head groundskeeper there for 18 seasons. All right, I'm Bill Lasky. This is Sports Phone KNBR. We'll take a quick break, come back with these calls. And Steve Kroner will join me later in the show. So we'll just talk Giants baseball here on a Friday night as the Giants win 6-3. They're 79-81. And we'll be right back right here on the Sports Leader.
Giants fans, this is your hub to have your voice heard. Sports Phone KNBR. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
Well, if he could do it again here tonight, he could take care of the 30 home run mark tonight.
There you go.
3-2 pitch. Swinging. There's a high drive down the left field line. Way back there. It is hooking. It is a home run. Adios. Pelota right down the line into the tunnel. Number 29 for the Willie Mack Award winner for this year, Willie Adames.
Back on Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky as Willie Adames did that in the bottom of the first inning, and boy, that was a bomb. A 3-2 fastball. He didn't miss it. And Herman Marquez was turning his neck pretty quick on that one because that ball went out quickly. A 94-mile-an-hour fastball hit 402 feet, and the Giants took a 2-0 lead and never looked in the back in the rearview mirror as the Colorado Rockies just never caught up. As the Giants won this game 6-3 for their 79th win on the 2025 season. 2 more games left of San Francisco Giants baseball. Now they're 9-2 against the Colorado Rockies this year with 2 more to go. 415-808-KNBR. Let's get some phone lines ringing here. Let's go out to Sacramento and talk to Daniel. Daniel, you're on with Bill Lasky on KNBR. How are you?
Bill, great. How are you?
Doing good. Finishing up the season. Wish we could go on a little further, but a couple of falters in this, last couple of weeks. And but again, we just hopefully they go out with a nice 81-81 season. Sure, it's not the best, but at the same time, go out with a couple wins.
Let's hope so. The game was a bit boring, to be honest. The Giants seemed to be playing with the intensity of practice. Rockies, they just seemed to have really low morale, and Giants had nothing to lose anyway. So it was kind of fun to just watch them win with half effort, it seemed. But I kind of want to talk about Devers a little bit. I was complaining about him after like June, July, August. And you were always telling me, hey, relax, let him find his feet and all that stuff. And I was really judgmental first few months, and then he proved me wrong, and he started really showing his stuff. Now, listen, I listen to a lot of sports content, whether it's on KNBR or my own local stations in Sacramento or Locked On Podcasts, and people have just been nagging about Devers lately. And so I started to pull up some numbers. Check this out. Devers is now in the top 15 in the MLB for home run scoring this season so far. He's in the top 15. And believe it or not, of the top 15 players in Major League Baseball, the top 5 ranked home run hitters are also leaders in the strikeout ranks.
I can believe that.
The top 5, 4 out of 5 top 5 home run hitters are also leaders in the strikeout. And people are complaining about Devers striking out a lot. Well, yeah, he strikes out quite a bit. He's like number 3 in the ranks. But of the 5, the only one in the top 5 that's not a strikeout leader is that stud Aaron Judge.
Yeah, it's the strikeouts this year, Daniel. It's just they keep mounting every year. I've always said, where's the 2-strike approach? How come they don't choke up? Why don't they try to put the ball, just in play? But that's not their way they think anymore. It's swing as hard as I can and hit him out see if I can hit him out of the ballpark. And that goes back when Farhan was here, when you started listening to all the analytics. And they never had a 2-strike approach, even through the minor leagues. They wanted to swing as hard as you can and try to drive the ball up and try to drive the ball out. And that was their philosophy.
Oh, that's beyond. That's above my pay grade there. You're Mr. Pro here. But on the
well, that's what they did. You go back 20, 30 years, it was a whole different approach. I talk to Bill Madlock every year. The guy won 11 titles, and every one was over 300. You only have maybe 1 or 2 guys in the league hitting over 300 this year. It has gone south. And that tells me so much more about driving the ball, worrying about my batting average. No, they're worried about home runs and RBIs, and I think that's the change that the game has made over the years. And old school, new school, as they always throw at me, old school thoughts. But that's what it is. More strikeouts, more home runs, more RBIs, and that's what they're getting paid for.
Yeah, you make a good point, because I've been watching that too, and sometimes it just seemed like the pitchers were just really good at psyching out the player, the batters.
Velocity's up, Daniel. Velocity is way up. The guys are throwing 98 to 102, and it's not even full blow sometimes. I mean, the average fastball when I was playing was probably 94, 95 average. That was probably above average. More like 92, 94 was average. And that's back then. But Nolan Ryan, J.R. Richard, you had a few of them that could bring it, and then the next wave came in with Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, and those kind of that just started firing. And now look how many fireballers we have. Even when you look at Joel Peguera, here's a kid that was 10 years in the minor leagues. He's throwing 101, 102. So that's what we're looking at, and I think that's where all the strikeouts come from. The high-velocity fastball, and then a breaking ball down in the zone. Look what Randy Rodriguez featured until his elbow blew out. That's why I wonder if that's the good thing or bad thing by trying to throw sliders at 95, 96, because that's just so effective on your elbow. And you can blow your elbow just like that. That tendon can snap, and that's the issue of trying to overthrow.
Right. And even on the walks, Devers is number 3 in the league for walks.
Over 100 walks right now. It's got to be about 110. He had 3 walks tonight.
Oh, well, these are yesterday's numbers, so I'm kind of out of
No, I'm just saying, I mean, he's well over 100, 107 RBIs. I mean, his numbers overall for the year, I'm sure his batting average he'd like a little bit better. He's only hitting 252. He was 270, if you're looking at his batting. You look on his baseball card, average about 270 overall, 9 years. But I think it's going to pan out. It's just trying to fit him in. I think he's fitting in well with Chapman now, Adames. Willie Adames was on NBC Bay Area. He was player of the game, and they asked him, what do you see in 2026? He goes, the foundation is here. We just have to build it stronger and play better. And I think that's what Giants fans need to hear and see, that foundation is Willie Adames, Matt Chapman, Devers, Ramos. And again, maybe not Ramos yet, but those are your 3 top payroll guys. So that is your foundation, and that's where you have to build it from.
Right. And also, I also compiled this information. Of the top 15 home run counters, 8 of the 15 players come from 4 teams: Yankees, Mets, Angels, and Seattle.
How about
Each
that?
of those teams have 2 players.
I'm surprised I don't see an L.A. Dodger one in there.
Well, they only have Ohtani in the top 15. And then for strikeout count, San Francisco and Angels have 2 players, and Seattle has 3.
The Giants got to cut down on strikeouts. I've been talking about that all year. But, Daniel, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. I'll be on a weekend if you want to throw some more numbers at me on the post-game shows. But thanks again for calling in. Let's go to Jack. He's in Oakland. How are you, Jack?
I'm good, Bill. How are you?
I'm glad you're a little up late, but it's a Friday night, so I'm glad you called in. How's it going, buddy?
I'm good. Last post-game show. It's really sad that...
Well, for a Friday, right? I'm on all weekend. I'm on Saturday and Sunday, but I call it the last Friday sports phone show because the Monday through Friday, they call it Sports Phone KNBR. But I'll be on extra innings for Saturday and Sunday. But, yeah, the season's coming to a close. It's always a bummer when the team is eliminated, and now we're just playing games to get a record and get players to get stats up. But today was a fun game. I thought they played well. What did you think?
I think they just kind of did what they needed to do to win. I feel like everyone kind of contributed.
Mm-hmm. Early home runs. I thought that was really good. What'd you think of McDonald? Trevor McDonald. He's a new name that could be in this rotation.
I was impressed, but I thought it could be just another Kai Wee Tang. Sorry if I pronounced their name wrong, but he had a good game. He had 2 good games, but it just kind of he shows up or he doesn't.
Yeah, I think he's only 24 years old. I got to meet him on Wednesday. He's a big dude, man. He's got big hands and throws the ball hard. He's got that sinker, but that curveball's wicked, man. He throws that at all different speeds. Kept the ball in play, what I like about him, and he's a fast-paced pitcher. Bryce Eldridge was telling me infielders love that, and I've always known that. When you got a fast-paced pitcher, everybody's moving quicker. You don't have that much lap time. Are you a pitcher, Jack, at all?
I do pitch.
Do you fast pace? Try to get the ball, get it going, get it going, get it going. Do you try to do that?
More or less. I don't think about that. I mostly just think about where I'm going to pitch it. But
yeah, do you think a
as
pitch
an
ahead,
infielder,
two
I like
pitches ahead? How do you think about pitching? Do you think, like I said, if there's a hitter up and you go 1-0, are you thinking, how do I throw a strike now? How am I going to throw the next strike? Do you try to think outside the box ahead of the hitter?
I try and think about how I missed and how I can adjust.
Beautiful.
And
that's great.
yeah.
And you know the first pitch, it should be a strike every time. I always throw that out there. What's the best pitch in baseball? And you hear kids say
First pitch
fastball,
strikes.
curveball, and it's strike one. I've heard that in so many different interviews that I've done. Steve Stone was doing this interview with me, and he said Sandy Koufax, way back when, told him, I try to throw a strike first pitch to every hitter. And for me to telling you, Jack, that's what you need to try to do better and better.
Oh, yeah, of course.
What kind of hitter are you, Jack? Can you club one here and there?
I'm more of a contact guy, you know. I'm working on my hitting
Beautiful.
skills. I just kind of
That's
like
all you need to do. Make
get basic.
contact, Jack, right? Make contact, push the ball to right. Are you right-handed or left-handed hitter?
I'm a right-handed hitter.
You stand deep in the box. You stand on top of the plate.
Well, I've been kind of trying stuff out. The other
Good.
time I was crowding the plate a little, but
Do you hit off a tee much?
I do some tee work. I do soft toss with my coach. Shout out Coach Will.
Yep. Good. Well, you know, that's what you can adjust on off a tee. You can go close to the plate, keep that tee right there, move back a little bit. That's where you can adjust being closer to home plate or away from the plate or deeper in the box or move up in the box. You can play with the tee by yourself and just make adjustments that way, as well as trying to go the opposite way, swing a little late, push the ball out with your front hand and try to go opposite way. But those are all things that you can do yourself where you don't need a coach. You can do it in your backyard and work with wiffle balls like that.
Yeah.
Good. Well, Jack, anything else on the Giants you want to throw at me?
I want to talk. I'm going to the game on Sunday.
Good.
And
Final
I was
game.
wondering, are you going
Logan
to be
Webb.
at 58 Social?
Excellent. Well, when you get out of the game, call me. I'll be doing the extra inning post-game show. You can tell me what you thought and all about Logan Webb on Sunday. How's that?
I might not be. I got a game, but
Oh, right after? All right. Well, good luck.
so
Thank
this
you
is gonna be
always
my
for
last call of
calling
the
in.
season, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in all year, Jack, and you have a great winter, and baseball will be around next February, and we'll do it all over again, and thank you for the time. Tell your parents thank you for letting you call in, and it was a pleasure, my friend.
Of course, I'll miss you, man.
All right, Jack, take care. Let's go out to Hawaii and talk to my buddy Bert. Bert, you got to tell me some positive things, Bert. Come on now. They're 79 and 81. Come on, Bert.
Oh, hi, Bill. Yeah, it is.
I knew I'd get you on that one, Bert.
Bert.
Well, they fell
Yeah,
short, Bert. They had opportunities in September, Bert. There was a few windows opening. The Mets were losing, and they just couldn't close it with some key wins. And you know, you and I talked about when we saw this schedule in the beginning of the year. You and I both said this, Bert. Look at what they have in the last 6 games: St. Louis and Colorado. They just have to be close, and they just weren't close enough, were they, Bert?
Yeah, no, but you know, it's going to be an interesting off season. I mean, I really don't think the Giants, the core or the Giants team, I don't think is that good, and that's why they fell short, obviously. But it's going to be an interesting off season, and just overall, I mean, I'm bouncing all over the place, but with Buster Posey, some of the decisions he made this year was kind of crucial. I think first of all, Justin Verlander and signing him, that was a bad move. And that's number one.
He pitched
I think number
good.
two was
He's pitched above average. When you look at his numbers, though, Bert, he's got a 3.88 earned run average in 146 innings. But they didn't score for him. That's where you see the 3-11 record. I don't believe they'll bring him back. He wants to stay in Florida or Texas and save money on taxes. And he is going to pitch again. But I think the Giants were the only ones that really were coming after him because I didn't see too many teams knocking on his door, especially when he was injured the last year or two.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, so that's why I think that was a mistake. And his record. I mean, actually, he only had 5 the last. Not this previous game, but the previous 5 games. That was the only 5 games he really had that he pitched well. Prior to that, he was terrible.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. Arizona, Dodgers, St. Louis, Baltimore, and the Cubs.
The 5 games. Right after that, San Diego.
And only 1 game with 2. The other 3 shut out and 1 with 1. But, yeah, he has pitched well. I really believe he has. But, again, I don't know if I want to risk more money for an injury from him and you're out. He paid $15 million. $15 million is a lot for one pitcher at 42. I don't know if I'd test it again. But we're going to find out Monday, though, Bert, what's going to happen. Buster Posey's going to have a press conference on Monday. And we'll find out if Bob Melvin's coming back or not. I think that's going to be the big conversation that's going to happen on Monday.
Oh, that's interesting to hear about that. I mean, I wonder about Bob Melvin, too. Other things, I don't think picking up Devers was a good move as well. I mean,
I'm going to disagree with you there. I think it will be in the long range because they do need a left-handed power hitter. I just don't like what they're doing. 1 game at first, 1 game at DH, 1 game at, who's going to play first base? If it's just going to be Eldritch, leave him there. And Rafi, you're going to be a DH. Or if you're going to give Chapman some time, maybe Devers plays third. I thought he played third great that game when Chapman wasn't playing. I thought he played real good when he got tossed out in Colorado.
Yeah, but picking up Devers, and then that's why I've been actually, now Eldridge is kind of stuck in a place where he doesn't really.
Well, Bert, I'm gonna throw you a stat here, Bert, and you're gonna go, oh my! I read this today. Since Devers was traded, Boston is 50 wins and 36 losses. Okay.
Yep.
They got the playoffs today. Since San Francisco picked up Devers, they're 38 and 50.
Yep.
So it's almost the opposite. When you think about it,
opposite, yeah.
I mean that's amazing. When I saw that stat, I was like, wow. I did not know Boston won 50 games, but they've been playing.
Yeah, Boston
no question
got hot. Yeah, and that's why I'm really not impressed with Devers. I really didn't know how Devers was. When he picked him up, I said, wow, that sounds good. His name sounds good. But watching him play, he's so. And then the final.
Well, he can hit a ball. He can hit a ball out of Jellystone if he could, but it's just where is he going to play if he's going to play? And I think Bert, that's the main thing. But listen, Bert, call me over the weekend if you got a minute or so, because I got a few callers I got to get, and the show's closing, so I got to get these calls going. So call me. We'll talk more baseball over the weekend. But thanks for the call. Let's go to San Jose and talk to Barfighter. Barfighter, how you been?
I've been all right. Hey, prime time, man. I just want to let all my bar fighting followers, I revived, to their great benefit, I revived my X account last Twitter. So I'm at FJ Barfighter on X. So
Barfighter, you asked me, do you remember you asked me 2 interviews that you wanted me to do? You remember that?
Yeah. So did you do them?
Who were they? Who did you ask me for? Larry Herndon?
Barfighting. Larry Herndon. I love Larry Herndon. Yeah. And sadly, the Giants traded him to the Detroit Tigers, and he won a World Series with the Detroit Tigers.
Well, I just want you to know, go on my podcast page. I interviewed him last week, my friend. You didn't know that,
Okay,
did
so
you?
who was the next one? I didn't know that, but I'm going to repeat again. I revived my SJ Barfighter at Twitter.
Barfighter, what do you want to talk about, my friend? I got calls coming in, and I got a shorter show on tonight. So if we're going to go back and forth, call me over the weekend when I got more time to talk to you. But what's going on today, my friend?
And what I want to do also is give a shout-out to the original, the OG of Barfighters, Salty Balty. He was awesome, and I just want to give a shout-out.
He was one of a kind, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I'm one of a kind also, but I'm to those who Barfighted before me, I salute you.
You should, and they should all salute you back, Barfighter.
Hey, you know what? I want to keep this on a like a positive top level lift. So I really like McDonald.
He was nasty the last two times.
I see. He has that angular, kind of like an angular heat to him, and he's specific in his strike zone. So I see a lot of potential in him.
I do too. I think if he comes up with a changeup or a third pitch, because it's really just curveball sinker right now. He threw 82 of those pitches out of the 89 with his two-pitch mix.
But he has a heat to his sinker and to his changeup, and that's always something that you can find some potential in.
Well, he off-speeds that curveball. He'll throw it real hard where it dives down real hard, and then he'll soft up just to throw it for a strike. The one pitch to Tovar, he just let it up. That was all, and it was, like I said in my open, Tovar's a first pitch swinger, and we all knew that, and boy, he didn't miss that. He saw gravy on the potatoes right there and knocked it out of center field with that one.
So what do you think? Is he a starter or a reliever?
McDonald? Why not fight in that fourth and fifth spot? That fourth and fifth spot next year is going to be wide open. You got Roop in there, you got Ray in there, you got Webb in there, fourth and fifth. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't believe Verlander will come back here. I think he wants to go to Florida.
No,
he may go back to the Astros.
Yeah.
The California tax he didn't like much at all. So, well, Barfighter, call me, buddy. I'll be around this weekend. I want to get a couple more calls in, but if I don't, have a great winter. It's always a pleasure talking to you. There you go. All right. Let's go to Helen in Arizona. Helen, how are you on a Friday night with Bill Lasky?
I'm fine. I'm glad the Giants won these two games. They might make it to 500. I wanted to say something about last weekend. I didn't manage to call in. When you were talking to Ed Halicki on the 20th, I suddenly realized, tomorrow is the 55th anniversary of Vida's no-hitter that he pitched when he was a call-up against the Twins. Did you ever talk to him about that on your show?
I've talked to Vida a lot just on the side about it. He never talked about a lot of things he did in baseball, but that was one of the ones that he talked about because I had Harmon Killebrew on for an interview, and of course he struck out Harmon Killebrew a couple times in that game.
Yeah.
And he was magnificent in that game, Helen. He was throwing mid-90s with that big leg kick.
Get that much to be aware of Vida until he came to the Giants. And I was really amazed that he did that against a team that was going to win the ALCS that year, 1970.
Yeah, Ed Halicki threw the last no-hitter at Candlestick Park.
Yeah, but I was thinking about Vida's accomplishment when he was barely a call-up. I mean, it was not a full rookie year yet.
Right. Well, he was a magnificent pitcher, over 200 wins. He should have been in the Hall of Fame. He might still get in from the senior vote, but we'll find out more, Helen. But thank you for the call, and I appreciate you bringing up Vida Blue. Thank you. Have a great night. Let's go to John in South City. John, you're on a Sports Phone KNBR show on a Friday with Bill Lasky. How are you?
Hey, Bill. How are you?
Well, finishing up here, next couple games, 2 more games left in the 2025 season, some ups and downs, some hurdles they went through. Some good baseball for a while that Giants fans were pretty excited about, and I was too, and just kind of fell through in the month of September.
Yeah, absolutely right. Hey, Bill, I think if the Giants could play finish the season strong, what do we expect in the offseason, from the front office?
Well, I'm hearing through the grapevine there's going to be some changes. There's going to be some trades, possibly with some named players. Speculation is always around us. I don't think there's one player that they won't trade. I think there's not one person, maybe Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, because they're starting pitchers, and maybe some young guys. But I think they're open to make some moves and try to build this team a little bit better.
And do you see, I really like Don Smith a lot, Bill. Unfortunately, he got injured against the Dodgers.
I hope they bring him back.
I absolutely. I was going to talk about that. You know what? I like this speed, like his athleticism. Great person being around the clubhouse. I love to see him resign him back.
Fantastic. I saw him up Wednesday. We had a long talk because I had interviewed him, and he was all nervous on the interview, and he was fantastic, and he thanked me for the interview. He said, "You teed me up," and I said, "I always tee everybody up. Everybody wants to think I'm going to give them hard questions, but it doesn't happen." Well, John, listen, I'm on all weekend. I got to get out right now. Give me a call over the weekend. We'll talk more baseball, but thanks for the call tonight. I
absolutely.
appreciate it.
I'll call you tomorrow, okay? Have a good one.
Perfect. I appreciate it, John. All right, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to bring Steve Kroner on, so we'll be live right next with Steve Kroner right here on Sports Phone KNBR on the Sports Leader.
Giants fans, this is your hub to have your voice heard. Sports Phone KNBR. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
There's another 0-2. And it is strike 3 called. Got him looking with a fastball. The 10th strikeout tonight for Trevor McDonald. Over an outstanding 7-inning start. What a performance from the young right-hander.
Back on Sports Phone on a Friday night with Bill Lasky. Giants win the first game of a 3-game series against the Colorado Rockies the end of 2025 season. 6-3, a couple home run balls. Willie Adames hit his 29th, a 2-run shot. And Elliot Ramos hit his 21st. That was a bomb, 440 feet, a 3-run shot. They picked up another run in the 5th inning. Bryce Eldridge got a nice sac fly for an RBI. So Giants win 6-3. They're right back at it tomorrow. 1:05. Justin Verlander against Kyle Freeland. Should be a good one with Kyle Freeland back out there, especially against Rafael Devers. That will be a good matchup. All right, coming up next, my good friend. You hear him every Friday with me. You can follow him, a little bit of football, a little baseball, but most of all, he's Steve Kroner. Steve, how are you?
Bill, I'm getting a little wistful thinking this is the last Friday night we get to talk to each other, at least over the airwaves for this season.
Well, I'll call you next weekend, Friday, maybe around this time, see what the games are at the playoffs, and we can kind of make it up. How's that?
I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Well, I got to throw you a couple of things that happened today. Trevor McDonald, second straight good outing. He threw really well. Here was a guy 9-9 in AAA, 25 starts, over a 5-point earned run average. But he's been carving up the strike zone. Very impressive for 2 starts.
Bill, if I recall correctly, I was listening to your post-game show on Sunday, and I believe you said something to the effect of, when the season gets near its end and you're not going to the postseason, if you're a pitcher or a player, whomever, you want to leave an impression with the front office, with the brass, to keep you in mind over the winter. And look, Trevor McDonald for 2 starts, that's not going to guarantee him a spot in the rotation. But I think what he's done over these 2 starts has at least got his name in the mix. As you mentioned, a 4th and 5th starter. The Giants might even need a 3rd starter, depending on, what happens with Justin Verlander. And even, I don't think the Giants would trade Robbie Ray, but I don't think that's out of the question either. So there are at least 2.
Well, you got Landon
3.
Roop also, Steve. Don't forget about Landon Roop. I think Landon Roop's pretty much set. Yeah, but I would say those are your 3 set right there. I don't think Justin Verlander's coming here. He wants to go more and closer to home in Florida, or even back to Houston and Texas, where the tax rate's a lot less. And I think he wants to be around his family a little bit more. His family was not out here that much, and I think that's what he's really looking for to finish out his career.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I'm saying I'm just a tad hesitant on Landon Roop. The injury with getting hit with the ball, you hope that eventually is healed. But a guy who had elbow inflammation in the middle of the season, to me, that's still a warning sign. I'm not saying it's going to, he very well could be healthy, and he was really good in the first half of the season. I mean, people look at reasons why the Giants fell off midseason. One of the reasons was that Landon Roop got hurt. I mean, it wasn't the only reason, but it certainly was one. So again, even if you assume Roop, Ray, and Webb are 3 pretty much locks, then you still got 2 spots in the rotation. And getting back to Trevor McDonald, he's got to be at least a consideration right now.
Well, then also, Steve, you got to build it behind him. Look what happened this year when Harrison got traded. They didn't have much after that. And then Birdsong was a disaster. He was a disappointment. I really thought Hayden Birdsong would fit in this rotation. And then when he started the season in a bullpen and Landon Roop got to start, they were battling all the way down to the last game in spring training. And now I'm hearing, well, is Hayden Birdsong a bullpen guy now? And I'm like, what? But he's still young, and that was one of the things that I wanted to say to you. A lot of the judgment we're looking at are very young pitchers when you're thinking about it. McDonald's 24 years old. He's a young right-hander. So do you build your rotation with younger guys and take the chances with them, or do you go look at that free agent market and pick up a guy that's a veteran pitcher that could establish the middle of that rotation?
I'm certainly not going to say what Buster Posey and Zach Manasian are going to do. But I think if I had, in a semi-perfect world, and then certainly the Giants fans wouldn't want me anywhere near having any control over what the team were to do. But if by some chance that were to happen, I think the Giants would want to get one more established starter, particularly if you think that this team isn't that far away. Again, we've gone through this on some Friday nights and even a few other nights over this season. There are times when you think a team with a lineup that has Rafael Devers and Willie Adames and Matt Chapman, and Elliot Ramos when he's right, is a team that, with a couple of more pieces fitting in, that can contend. And there were, look, the Giants, God forbid, they're not the Rockies. They're not that far away.
Right.
But
well,
I think
Logan Webb said that, Steve. You remember what Logan Webb said after his last start? I look around this locker room. This is the best talented team I've been on.
Yeah.
Because the talent's there. There's no question the talent's there. How do you get it all to work right? How do you consistently see this team play every month? Because you look at the numbers, April, they started off extremely well. March and April, they were 19-12. And then, boom, 13-14 in May, 13-14 in June, 9-15 in July. That's when the trouble's hard. Right after that All-Star break, they couldn't catch a win.
Yes, that's really kind of where the season went south. Even it went south in June, but they made a bit of a comeback in early July. The Patrick Bailey walk-off inside the park homer. They beat the Dodgers on a Friday night before the All-Star break. Then they lost two really tough games to the Dodgers going into the All-Star break, and they came out of the All-Star break really slowly. And that's really where the season changed. But I was thinking about this, Bill. I think looking into next season, for the first time, I think really since the late 90s, early 2000s of the Barry Bonds, Jeff Kent, J.T. Snow, Ellis Burks, Rich Aurelia Giants, you can say the Giants have enough power right now. They don't have probably enough speed. They're certainly not as deep in the rotation and the pen as they were even 3 months ago.
That bullpen was the best in baseball, if you remember, all the way up till June, middle of June. They were just unhittable. But I want to throw some ideas to you here, Steve, tonight. And I wanted to kind of think about some things that happened this year. So I'm going to ask you, what do you remember was the best catch of this year? Can you remember any of them? Because I got two of them. The best catch.
Okay, well, I gotta go with Jung-Hoo Lee, between his legs.
Jung-Hoo Lee, the ball that caught between his knees.
Yes,
right.
I would go with that. Off the top of my head.
Another one.
Okay.
Mike Yastrzemski going into the net on right field.
Yeah.
Remember that?
That was
another good one too.
His last catch, his last day with the Giants, if I'm not mistaken. That certainly was a great play.
Craziest. I'm going to throw this one there. The craziest at bat of the year.
Okay. Well, again, off the top of my head, I would say Patrick Bailey hitting a walk-off inside the park homer would be something I wouldn't have predicted.
I had that as my best walk-off, but the craziest bat of the year, Elliot Ramos on the Little League home run.
Okay.
That was the one I had down there.
I can see that.
I can still see that happening too.
No, certainly the funniest.
Should it be the funniest at bat of the year?
Yeah.
So the best walk-off, really, Steve, the best walk-off goes to Bailey twice, right? One left-handed and one right-handed.
One right-handed, yeah, no question. I don't. Ramos would be the funniest walk-off, and I think everybody thought that was funny except for maybe Bruce Bochy. But if I'm not mistaken, it was against the Rangers.
Wasn't Luke Jackson the one that threw it? Wasn't Luke Jackson the one that threw
so.
from third over? I think it was.
Yeah.
He was backing up and the ball went halfway down the line. That was wild.
Yes.
I'll never
Yes.
forget Kipe going, "He's going home," screaming at it. But of course, the best walk-off, Bailey hitting the inside the Parker left-handed, and then the right-handed one against the Dodgers, the grand slam. Those were just classic.
Right. I mean, look, in a season that if the Giants win the last two games, they'll finish exactly 500. You're going to have some pretty darn good memories, and you have some pretty darn bad ones. That's what a 500 season is about. And Patrick Bailey's season, let's be honest, has not been great. He's been better the last month and a half or so, but he's probably got the two most memorable plays of the 2025 Giants season.
So, Steve, here's another one. The Giants only had one complete game out of their starters this year. That was Robbie Ray against Arizona. He was dealing. He ended up giving up 2 runs in the 9th inning. He goes 9 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, and 2 earned. There was a home run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. He won his 9th game. And then Logan Webb had one against San Diego where he went 8 innings, 6 hits, no earned runs. They ended up losing that game 1-0 in 10 innings against San Diego. He got a no decision in that game. Of course, both Robbie Ray and Logan Webb, when you start looking month to month, they had so many games, no decision because the bullpen, or they came out of the game 1-1 or 2-2. It was unbelievable when I started looking at the months and how these guys just rattled them off. And both of them were so consistent.
Yeah, no question. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find 2 starters on one team in 2025 Major League Baseball who did as well consistently throughout the season as Logan Webb and Robbie Ray. There are individual pitchers who have pitched better. I'm not saying that Robbie Ray and Logan Webb were the best pitchers. They're certainly up there, but they're not at the very top. But you would be hard-pressed to find a team to have 2 pitchers at near the top as pitched as well as Webb and Ray have for the Giants this season.
That voice you hear on Sports Phone KNBR, you heard him every Friday night, pretty much every Friday with me, is Steve Kroner. You can follow him on X at Steve Kroner SF. Does a great job with football and minor league baseball. You did a great job this year with some great minor league pitchers and players. You do a great job in introducing those players out. Is that Baseball America you use that?
That is Baseball America. I do. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it was a good job. You did some good ones this year. Who was about the best one that nobody knows about?
Well, I think people know about him now, but maybe not when I wrote about him, was Bo Davidson. And in fact, I had to pick the last couple of weeks who the Giants organization player of the year was. And to me, it came down to Bryce Eldridge and Bo Davidson. Bo Davidson, I believe, was undrafted, and he's had a heck of a year. And I don't think he would be up next season, but it would not surprise me for him to be on the roster, say, in 2027. But in any event, his numbers overall were better than Bryce Eldridge's. I picked Bryce Eldridge for 2 main reasons. One, that he was doing it at the higher levels, AA and AAA. And the second is that Bryce Eldridge had a lot of expectations thrust upon him from last season even, and being a first-round pick a couple years ago. But it was really close. That was a very tough decision. If somebody said you should have picked Bo Davidson, I wouldn't say you're wrong. So I would say Bo Davidson is somebody who's kind of come out of nowhere, and he's going to be somewhere pretty quickly.
Yeah, San Jose Giants won the California League last weekend. I had Travis Ishikawa on, and it was a great interview with him. He was saying, I had more butterflies as a hitting coach than when I played. I bet he did. But the minor leagues did well. Sacramento did well, and San Jose, and Eugene was okay. I think Richmond had some problems. They finished 500 or so, but a lot of promising young players out of this draft moved up too. So, and you got to watch them. You got to read about them. But, the one play today, which I'm scratching my head on because it's like, I really don't want to pick on Jung-Hoo Lee for not knowing how many outs there were.
I knew we were going there. But you have to.
I don't, because he's so good, and you say it's a brain fart. You say, oh, man, I just didn't know. But that almost cost him a run, and you could see pounding his chest. he lost track of how many outs. Steve, you're playing 162 games, and I'm going to say this. You should know every time there's 1 or 2 outs.
Yep. I mean, I do remember over the years I remember distinctly Larry Walker at Dodger Stadium for getting the outs and throwing the ball into the stands. And I think if I remember correctly, some kid was nice enough to throw it back to him. And I believe, I hope I'm not wrong in casting any aspersions on him, but I'm pretty sure Benny Agbayani did it for the Mets, maybe against the Giants. So it's not
the left fielder. Wasn't he a left fielder?
Yes. Yeah. Walker was in right field and Agbayani was in left. And so I
remember that. He threw it to the kid. He was running and he tossed it to him, and then they were saying there's only 2 outs, and he ran back and took the ball from the kid. It was too late to, but it's embarrassing, no question, and I'm glad the run didn't score, and it's just something he'll never forget because, I mean, even John Miller and Kruk and Kuiper, like, we never saw that from a center fielder, which is true. But those things happen. I mean, you get lagged a little bit. But overall, let's finish this up, Steve. Overall, what did you think of this season? It's promising for 2026. They're going to have to reshuffle some players and do some things. We'll find out on Monday. They're having a press conference. Buster Posey's having a press conference, and we'll find out if Bob Melvin will be back and his coaching staff to follow. But these things are all being discussed, or they've already made the decision. But what do you think on the whole thing?
Yeah, we don't have 55 minutes, do we? I got about a minute and a half at most. I'm thinking that the Giants have some tough decisions to make. To me, the 2 toughest decisions in terms of would you trade him or not would be Robbie Ray and Elliot Ramos. And not because they're bad, it's because they're good. I mean, they could bring certainly Robbie Ray with 1 year left on his contract, as well as he's pitched, could bring a lot. But if you decide you're giving up Robbie Ray, then your rotation really is a fill in the blank. So I think that's a big decision. And Elliot Ramos hit a 3-run homer tonight. He's a much better than average hitter. There aren't, he's not the best hitting outfielder in the league, but he's certainly better than average, close to really good. He is a liability in left field.
He's still a young outfielder. He's still got age on him, and that could be something you could get something for. You could maybe get another quality player. I think that's what you have to look at, too. You could also look at Casey Schmidt. You could also go that route, to see that. I just wonder with the ABS coming back, is Patrick Bailey now on the market? I think there is some question marks on a lot of this talent, and we'll find out. But I'm really interested to see if Bob Melvin's coming back. I'm really interested to see what Buster Posey is going to say Monday once the season gets over. But, Steve, our season is over, and it's been a pleasure having you on every Friday. It's always great talking baseball with you, and I can only thank you for all the late nights you've put up with me, and it's been a pleasure once again.
Bill, right back at you, and again, maybe we can give each other a call around 11:15 the next 6 to 8 Fridays just to keep it going.
We'll do that until we get bored, right?
Exactly.
Steve, thanks again, my friend. We'll have lunch. We will.
I look forward to it.
Thanks, buddy. All right, we're going to wrap up this Friday edition, but I got a few things I want to throw out there. Tomorrow I'll be doing the warm-up show. That starts at 11 o'clock. And like I told you before, Trevor McDonald and I sat down. We got a great interview for that warm-up show. And then the post-game show, Extra Innings, we'll be following that up. I had a sit-down with Will Clark and Marvin Bernard. Marvin, of course, is a Willie Mack Award winner. Those are 2 really nice interviews for Saturday's post-game show. And then Sunday, it's a 12 o'clock start. Everybody plays at 12 o'clock. I'll be doing the warm-up show at 10 a.m., and I sat down with Dave Dravecki and Mark Carrion. Mark Carrion played for a few years. Both of them are Willie Mack Award winners, so my weekend is pretty much around the Willie Mack Award ceremony. But I want to thank some people. I want to thank most of my guests that were on Sports Phone, from Steve Kroner to Jeff Young to Ben Ross, Dave Tobner, Brooks Knudsen, and Alex Simon. And also the producers of the show, my producer tonight, Jacob Villiante, Kyle Haar, Double D, Danny Dunn, Raphael Coriel, and Cole LaPelt. All of these people have made this show successful for when I'm on, and the best part is Giants fans and all the calls. But I'll be on tomorrow. Give me a call tomorrow on Extra Innings. We'll talk more baseball. For Bill Lasky, I'm signing off on a Friday night, the last Orange Friday, the last night game. The Giants win tonight 6-3. Have a great night, and we'll be around tomorrow if you want to give me a buzz. And right here, first pitch, 105, Justin Verlander and Kyle Freeland. Have a great night. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.